Lily Montgomery had been the brightest light in Marcus's world. After losing his wife to cancer when Lily was just 4, he'd poured everything into being both mother and father to her. She'd been a chattering, joyful child who filled every room with her endless questions and infectious giggles. But everything changed the night of the accident. A drunk driver had T-boned their car during a routine drive home from her ballet recital. Marcus walked away with minor injuries. Lily survived, but something inside her had broken in ways no X-ray could reveal. From that moment on, she simply stopped talking. The first doctor had called it selective mutism triggered by trauma. The 10th doctor suggested it was deeper psychological damage. By the 50th doctor, Marcus had heard every diagnosis imaginable, from post-traumatic stress disorder to conversion disorder to theories so complex they required translation. He'd hired child psychologists, neurologists, speech therapists, and specialists who'd flown in from Switzerland, Japan, and South Africa. He'd built Lily a therapy wing in their home, complete with sensory rooms, art therapy studios, and even a stable of horses for equine-assisted therapy. Nothing worked. Lily existed in her own quiet world, communicating only through nods and shakes of her head, her eyes holding a sadness that broke Marcus's heart daily. She was 8 years old now, and he was running out of hope. On a crisp October morning, Marcus stood in his study, staring at yet another report from yet another specialist, Dr. Elizabeth. Vanderbilt, the 100th doctor he'd consulted, had spent 3 months working with Lily. Her conclusion was the same as the 99 before her. Lily's case was unique, resistant to conventional treatment, and would require more time and, of course, more money. Marcus crumpled the report and threw it across the room. He was exhausted, not from lack of sleep, but from the weight of helplessness. All the money in the world, and he couldn't help his own daughter. "Mr. Montgomery?" His assistant, Patricia, knocked gently on the door. "Lily's in the garden. She seems agitated." Marcus rushed outside to find Lily standing by the fountain, tears streaming down her face, clutching her beloved stuffed rabbit. The toy had been with her since the accident, her one constant companion. As Marcus approached, he saw the problem. The rabbit had fallen into the fountain, and its fabric was soaked through, the stitching along one arm coming apart. "It's okay, sweetheart," Marcus said softly, retrieving the toy. "We'll get it cleaned and fixed." Lily shook her head violently, more tears falling. She reached for the rabbit, hugged it to her chest despite its wetness, and ran toward the estate's front gates. What happened next would change everything. As Lily ran down the long driveway, she collided with someone coming through the service entrance. The impact sent her sprawling, and the wet rabbit flew from her hands, landing in a puddle of mud. "Oh my goodness, I'm so sorry." The voice was warm, concerned, and belonged to a woman in an orange sanitation worker's uniform. Marcus caught up quickly, ready to dismiss the worker and comfort Lily, but he stopped when he saw his daughter's face. Lily wasn't crying anymore. She was staring at the woman with something Marcus hadn't seen in her eyes for 3 years: curiosity. The woman knelt in the mud without hesitation, picking up the soaked, dirty rabbit. "Well, hello there, little bunny. You've had quite an adventure, haven't you?" She pulled a clean cloth from her pocket and began gently wiping the toy. Marcus started to intervene. "Miss, I'll take—" "What's Bunny's name?" the woman asked Lily, completely ignoring Marcus. Lily opened her mouth, closed it, then pointed to the rabbit. "You know," the woman continued, her hands working gently, "I had a rabbit just like this when I was your age. Her name was Button because she had a little white spot right here that looked like a button." She touched the toy's ear where there was indeed a small white patch. Lily's eyes widened. She touched the same spot, then looked up at the woman's face intently. "I lost Button in a flood when I was 7, the woman said softly. "Our whole neighborhood flooded, and I thought I'd never see her again. But my dad, he went back into the water and found her. She was never quite the same. She had a tear right here." She indicated the exact spot where Lily's rabbit was coming apart. "But my grandmother sewed her up with special stitches, and you know what?" That's when Button became really special, because that scar meant she'd survived something hard, and she was still here. Marcus watched, frozen, as Lily reached out and touched the woman's hand. "I'm Rosa, by the way," the woman said, meeting Lily's eyes with a gentle smile. I clean the streets around here. And I think your bunny is very brave. Then, so quietly Marcus almost missed it, came a sound he'd spent 3 years and millions of dollars trying to hear. "Mr. Hoppy?" Lily's voice was barely a whisper, rusty from disuse, but it was real. Rosa's smile didn't falter, didn't show shock or excitement. She simply nodded. "Mr. Hoppy, that's a perfect name for such a brave rabbit." "He got hurt," Lily continued, her voice stronger now. "In the accident, like me." "I see," Rosa said, still kneeling in the mud, still holding the toy with the same gentle care. "And you've both been quiet since then?" Lily nodded, tears returning. But different now, not tears of frustration, but release. "Everyone keeps trying to make me talk. They ask and poke and have tests and want me to do things. But it hurts to talk. It hurts because she's gone." Marcus felt his own eyes burning. In 3 years, no doctor had considered that maybe Lily wasn't broken. Maybe she was just drowning in everyone's expectations and clinical interventions. "Your mom?" Rosa asked quietly. Lily nodded. "Talking about her hurts?" Rosa clarified. "Talking about anything hurts," Lily whispered. "Because she's not here to listen anymore." Rosa was silent for a moment. Then she said something that would later echo in Marcus's mind for years. "You know, Lily, silence isn't wrong. Sometimes we need quiet to heal. But I bet your mom wouldn't want the things you want to say, the happy things, the silly things, the everyday things, to get trapped inside with the hurt. I bet she'd want those to come out and find the people who love you." "But what if I forget her voice?" Lily's question cracked Marcus's heart wide open. "Oh, sweetheart," Rosa said. "Her voice is in yours. Every time you speak, she's there. Not gone, just changed. Like Mr. Hoppy's stitches." Lily looked at the rabbit, then at Rosa. Then, for the first time in 3 years, at her father. "Daddy?" Marcus dropped to his knees, mud and all, tears flowing freely. "I'm here, baby. I'm right here. I'm sorry I was quiet." "No," Marcus choked out. "I'm sorry. I'm sorry I kept bringing strangers. I'm sorry I tried to fix you instead of just being with you." Lily launched herself into his arms. And Marcus held her as she cried, really cried, for the first time since the accident. And then she talked. She talked about missing her mom, about being scared in the hospital, about hating all the doctors, about how Mr. Hoppy was her way of holding on to the last day. Her mom had been alive because it had been a gift from her. Rosa quietly stood to leave, but Marcus reached out. "Wait, please, I can't, thank you doesn't even begin." Rosa smiled. "I didn't do anything special. I just saw a little girl and a hurt bunny. Sometimes the simplest things matter most." "You did what 100 doctors couldn't do," Marcus said. "No," Rosa corrected gently. "The doctors were doing their jobs. But maybe what Lily needed wasn't a cure. Maybe she just needed someone to meet her in the mud and listen without needing her to be fixed." In the weeks that followed, Lily began speaking more, though she still had quiet days. Marcus learned to sit with her in silence without panicking, to let her heal at her own pace. He donated millions to trauma research and mental health programs. But his most meaningful action was simpler. He started a foundation that trained medical professionals in the art of listening and being present, named after Rosa Martinez. Rosa became a regular visitor to the Montgomery estate, though she refused any job offers or money. "I like my work," she'd say. "There's dignity in keeping things clean, in serving without needing recognition." 1 year after their collision in the driveway, Lily stood at a podium in a community center, holding Mr. Hoppy, now carefully repaired with visible stitches that she called his brave marks. "Sometimes," she told the crowd gathered for the foundation's launch, "the people who help us most are the ones who don't try to fix us. They just sit in the mud with us and help us see that being broken isn't the end of the story." Marcus watched his daughter speak, remembering all the specialists who'd tried everything, except the one thing that mattered, seeing Lily not as a problem to solve, but as a person who needed to be heard. Rosa had taught them both that healing doesn't always come with a prescription or a price tag. Sometimes it comes from someone who has the wisdom to see that the greatest gift we can give another person is our simple, genuine presence. In a world that often equates value with price, Rosa had reminded them that the most valuable things, compassion, presence, understanding, can't be bought. They can only be given freely from one human heart to another.